Different's great, but being different for the sake of being different, I'm not a big fan of, right? If you just want to be different for the sake of
technology, but increased, I would hide behind it.
And you start to hear some of their challenges, and yes,
because it speaks to the core of who you are and what drives you forward. Because what makes you different is what drives you.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Master Connector Show. I'm your co-host, Rob Genovesi, and I hope you are joining us live. If not, check that replay. But also, bookmark your calendar every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We're coming at you with great guests every single week to teach you from their experience, their stories they'll share, their skill sets, which they'll impart to you so you can do one thing. You can overcome your obstacles. You can further your opportunity. Here in the Master Connector Show, we also want you to reach out and connect with people because we're all about connecting. This is the Master Connector Show. Like I said, every week, we're bringing you amazing guests. So what you want to do is that you want to be able to make sure you're looking at your calendar, but also check out our website, masterconnector.show. Go there, see all the future episodes we have coming up. We're booked well into 2025. Always making sure bringing you the best of the best in their industries, masterconnector.show. Today, we've got an amazing show for you today. You know, listen, they say everybody's got a superpower. If you don't know what your superpower is, you're definitely going to want to listen closely because maybe yours is the topic of today, communication. Look, we are in a communication society. And actually, I was talking with a guy 2 days ago. This is what he does. Words are his business, but only the right words in imparting communication properly so people take the action you want them to take, whether it's to hire you, reach out to you, whatever it may be, collaborate with you. So communication is key. And listen, it may not be your only superpower, so that's why you want to tune in every week because you may relate to one of our guests and you may discover your superpower. So listen, Steve Spiro and I, my co-host, we go back 26 years, two former shy guys, two introverts who overcame introversion, or I should say overcame shyness, but we're still introverts because we became connectors. We connect people. We connect with people every single day of our lives. So he is the master connector. Let's bring him on, Mr. Steve Spiro. What's up, Steve?
What's up, Rob G? How you doing? I know that you got a little something. I appreciate you being a warrior and hanging in there with us. Yes, for sure. But
the show must go on.
Show must go on. Live TV, right? That's crazy, right? It's interesting. It's fun. It's not what I thought I would do. You know, as a fellow introvert, right? Being on broadcast, live TV. What? Are you kidding me? But here we are, and we're blessing the community. But speaking of which, what's going on, friends? Steve Spiro, the Master Connector, coming at you live and direct. And I'm excited to be here. And as Rob said, you know, this is the Connector Show. So we got Nick joining us, Nick Davis. Good to see you, Nick. But get in the comments like Nick did. Tell us where you're from, the city, state, country. We want you connecting with each other. So, I mean, and by the way, we don't know you're here with us unless you get into the comments. So get in the comments. You know, we believe in LinkedIn participants, not LinkedIn lurkers. So get in there, say hello, and connect with each other and see what kind of collaboration you can do together. But it's going to be an exciting show today. And so, listen, making communication your superpower starts with recognizing that people matter and every interaction is an opportunity to connect, right? We're all about connection here, right? I love speaking about this on stage because mastering communication can transform both personal relationships and business success, right? When you focus on others, right? Big part of our pillar of our show, you build trust, open doors, and create meaningful connections that drive results. You know, a spirit of gratitude in communication shifts your mindset, allowing you to listen deeply and appreciate others' contributions, right? And so the words you choose and how you deliver them have the power to uplift, inspire, or discourage. So it's crucial to communicate with intention. You know, the time is now to develop your communication skills because waiting for the perfect moment will only hold you back. Right? We know that there's no perfect moment, right? Just go now, right? I love the book Magic and Thinking Big, The Power of Now. Every conversation is a chance to practice empathy, show appreciation, and make someone feel seen and valued, right? I mean, how many people have experienced that, the good and the bad of that, right? Becoming intentional about communication helps you align your message with your mission, creating impact that resonates far beyond yourself. And when you communicate, when your communication becomes your superpower, you empower others to grow, collaborate, and achieve great things together. So if you're ready to have my man, Mr. Rob G, introduce our guest, I want you to type in the comments right now. Let's go. And again, excited to do that. Robbie G, I'll turn it to you.
All right, thanks, Steve. Listen, another great guest today. Listen, Sifu Rafael is a master instructor and founder of Speaking Prowess. He blends communication and leadership to unlock your potential. As a solutions expert and executive coach, Sifu brings years of experience to the table, guiding clients towards their goals with clarity and purpose. Sifu Rafael's mission is to make the art of personal and professional communication accessible to everyone. His dedication to this craft is truly inspiring. We're going to hear from him today. Please welcome to the show, Sifu Rafael. What's up, Sifu?
Hi, thank you, gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure is ours for sure. It's great, and fellow martial artist, right? It's
Oh yeah,
it's really cool to be on with someone who's been training, and I think you've been training even longer than I have. So good stuff. Yeah, but we're not going to talk about the martial arts, although there's always an overlap. I know Sifu and I had some good conversations, and there's a lot of the things we've taken from the arts and brought it into kind of the business world. So, but we're going to dig into this, and it's all about people, right? I mean, I've learned as an introvert. I used to think, hey, this world would be incredible if it wasn't for people, and but you know what? You can't thrive and strive to do great things if you don't have people in your life. And so I've learned how to grow people skills and become a better communicator. And I speak a lot about that on stage. But so community, type in hashtag people. We're going to dig right into this. So how does effective communication strengthen relationships and show people they matter? And of course, feel free to go. And if you want to tell people a little bit more of your backstory, whatever direction you feel like you want to go here. But we got 5 more questions. So let's just, but definitely want to hear from you, sir.
when you think about why you matter, the communication has to start with you. Why do you matter? What could you bring to another person? The first communication I start with every day is with God. I first I want to thank him for all the gifts he's given me. And then I ask for permission to share my gifts with my brothers and sisters. So when we look at another human being, we need to look at them with our eyes closed for a second and listen to what they're saying. Because the mastery truly comes in to listen. Listen intently. The words that we use will either propel us or keep us down. So one of the things that I always say, it's the stories that amplify your life, the stories you tell yourself, the stories you tell others, and the way you tell your story is going to impact those around you. It's going to impact your business, your personal life, your relationships. Everything to me is relationship based. Think about that. Without great relationship, how can you navigate great business? Without great relationships, how can you navigate your personal life? How about, you just meet someone for the first time. And if all you're worried about is to tell them how amazing you are, man, you might as well leave the room. Don't be there because they really don't care. Yeah. What do people usually care about?
Themselves.
Yeah. What's the most precious word that somebody can hear? Their name. See, we're all on the same page, gentlemen.
I have to jump in because it's almost like you just talked about my week so far. It's only midday Wednesday. But when you said listening, and we're talking about people, I didn't have many skills at all when I first started out. Even as a young adult, I didn't have anything going for me. Into my 30s, still very fearful, not a lot of skills. but I wanted to develop good people skills. So the first skill I actually learned, you mentioned it, was listening. And twice this week, I had two individual face-to-faces on Zoom, people I had never spoken to before. They were separate. Both people said, I really appreciate how attentive you are. And I really feel like there's a connection here. It's very easy to talk to you. And I chalked that up to what you said about listening, but I didn't always have that. What would you tell people, Sifu, who are always thinking about what they're going to say and they're not really listening? How can they develop that listening skill?
The reality is, are you interested? That's where it really comes down to. If I'm going to be speaking to a child, a middle-aged person, or somebody very old, say 100 years old, and I've spoken to many of them, thank God they're still around to be able to share their knowledge with me. It's interest. If you're not interested in what they have to say, there is zero connection. So when you meet somebody for the first time, or the 100th time, or the 1000th time, you need to be attentive to them. What are they saying? A lot of people, they listen only so they can respond instead of listening to understand. When somebody says, "How are you?" and you barely finish your words and they're already telling you about them, they shouldn't even have asked that question. That was the wrong question. It shouldn't even have been a question. It should have been saying, "Hey, let me tell you about me." And like so many movies, they'll say, it's pretty funny. What they'll say is, "Enough about me. What do you think about me?"
That's right.
So think about who is in front of you, because whether it's one person or 1,000 people, listening to them. But it's not just the words they use, it's their body language, the eye contact, the hand gestures. All of these different things allow us to truly listen. How would we be able to listen if we were blind? And there's so many people out there who are blind.
Yeah.
Yet we don't give them the benefit of seeing, but yet they can see better than we.
That's
because
right.
their listening skills have truly honed in. So for me, it's about truly listening for the tonality, the intention, the space. I have 6 shows. So for me, listening to my guests is critically important, because if I don't give them the time to speak, I might as well not have them as a guest. Right?
Absolutely.
So listening is a critical aspect.
There's so many great nuggets from what you just said. And as an introvert, and Rob and I share that in common. And I'm not sure if you shared with me if you were, but I know that and we also had a mentor that was very charismatic and very dynamic. And I always was concerned about, like, how can I be interesting? And I've learned, kind of piggybacking off what you're saying, is to be interested versus interesting, right? Being interested in somebody and learning and kind of wanting to know more and more about them. You could be the best conversationalist if you ask good questions because you're truly interested, not because it's a technique, but because you really care and you want to know about them. I was the most, I don't know, connected during COVID because I had, whatever it was, 6, 7, 8, whatever. I don't even know the number every day of these Zoom calls, but I felt connected. And I like Rob, people would say, I'm opening up in ways I had never opened up before because I just feel comfortable with you. And some of it was my being vulnerable with them. Some of them was the listening skills, but so important to do that and to be interested in people versus interesting. And so appreciate that. And so I want to shift to something else that kind of you mentioned in the beginning, how you're great, but about that.
I think we lost. There you are.
Okay. I want to talk about being grateful and gratitude, right? And I have a gratitude list that I have every morning that I do 3 things I'm grateful for. But talk about gratitude. So community, type in hashtag gratitude if you can. And what what role does gratitude play in transforming communication into a superpower, if you could?
I think gratitude comes from you understanding you first. And the gratitude for me is being grateful for every lesson I've learned along the way, whether it's from somebody who's trying to help me and even from someone who's trying to hurt me. Because everyone, if you allow them, will teach you a lesson. Every single individual, even when they say nothing, because that sometimes they're speaking louder than you can imagine. Sometimes silence is golden. And a lot of times, have you ever been in a car and you're driving and there's no words spoken?
Yeah.
But you're enjoying that moment with that person. It would be so different if you were alone. Maybe you're driving with that person and there is no music going on, but you're enjoying that person. You're grateful for their presence. They don't have to say anything, but you know them next to you.
Yeah.
You're so happy because it tells you that they took the time to be with you, yet they don't have to say anything. So silence is golden. For me, my silence is a beautiful thing because it allows me to really connect with my maker, if you will. It allows me to reflect on everything. I love music, but I don't have to play music every minute, even when I'm in the car. Sometimes I'll shut my music off. I might be by myself, but it's a time for me to reflect and think about my day. I'm also grateful for the cars going alongside of me on either side. Why am I grateful? They didn't crash into me. So think about the little things, right? It's the little things that we have to be grateful for. The fact that every morning I wake up and I'm grateful that I can move my arms and I'm breathing, I'm alive. So the communication starts with us. And that's the best communication skills that we can start looking in the mirror and saying, man, you are awesome. You're beautiful. Because if we can't say that to ourselves, if we look in the mirror and we go, man, I don't like this about me, I don't like that, or I'm too heavy, I'm too thin, I'm too this, I'm too that, I don't like my hair, I don't, right there, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, which is the number one thing. Love yourself so you can love others. Gentlemen, you both spoke about being introverts.
Yeah.
I am a secret introvert. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. Okay. So I am very outward. I go to an event. I love connecting with people. I love parties. I love dancing. And when I was younger, I used to always want to bring people to my house and have parties and all this stuff. And there'd be people sleeping on the couches and all this stuff. And it was a party every weekend. I went away from that. And I don't invite anyone to my home. I rather meet them at a restaurant. I rather meet them at a place, at a gala, at a park. But when it comes to my solace, my place, my safe place, which I used to give it away. I don't do that anymore. And people may go, man, that guy doesn't like me. He doesn't invite me to his house. It's nothing personal. It's just because I've decided to make it my super safe place.
Yep. Love
And
that.
it's not that I'm hiding anything.
Yeah.
It's that I became an introvert. And I said, this is when I want to be not bothered. This is where I want to do whatever I want.
Sifu, you said something a couple of minutes ago about learning to love yourself first. And I know people are going, they dismiss it so fast. And I will tell you this. It is the first thing I worked on before I was able to work on anything else. And what I mean by that is I was clueless. When I say I was clueless, I didn't have friends for real because I never spoke. I knew you were smarter than me. I knew you were stronger than me. I knew you were wealthier than me. I knew you were healthier than me. I knew all that in my mind. And I couldn't even have a conversation. I remember seeing people from school in the store. I would see them down the aisle. I'd run the other way. Literally, I would leave the store without buying the thing I went for because I was so frightened and I didn't know how to speak. And I realized that, there was a lot of kind of this self-loathing and this intimidation factor of
Mhm.
I'm not good enough for them. I'm not good enough for that. And when I realized that, I really dove into learning how to love who I am and what I am with all I've been given.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
when that happened, I was then able to stop focusing on myself, right? Self-consciousness was gone, to be others conscious and then work on my skills in order to make you feel awesome about you. And that's the other thing I hear from people. Man, every time I have a face to face and it's over, they always say, "Wow, this was really great." I had a guy say it to me on Monday. The guy who's been around a bunch of years, done a lot of things. He said, "Man," he goes, "This is one of those few conversations." He goes, "I'm charged up now to go out and do what I've been doing even more than before we met." And that's
Mm.
kind of part of what I want to do because I'm giving. I'm always giving. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that you said that. It's a powerful point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I want to just chime in here a little bit, and there's a proverb. It might be scripture. It's love thy neighbor as thyself. And it's interesting, but it doesn't really speak on that love yourself first, right? And it implies it, but what if you don't love yourself? How do you love thy neighbor, right? So important what you're speaking about, and it does take work.
Mhm.
And I think we as light givers, if you will, we can shine light on people and help them believe in themselves more and love themselves. Ultimately, it does take, for me, it was connection with my higher power. If the king of the universe and king of everything, loves me, then I should love me, right? So that was what it was for me. But I just want to, before we get into the next section here, I want to just acknowledge Lady Drew mentions the art of communications, paying strict attention to verbal and non-verbal communication. They want words, the way words are spoken, the eye movement, facial actions, body posture. Okay, I appreciate that. Good perspective. Yolanda, by the way, Yolanda's amazing. We appreciate you, Yolanda, being on the show every week. It's just awesome. She's incredible. So we have a few people from Texas today, but anyway, when you feel heard and understood, they are more likely to be open to finding solutions to problems together. Well said. And then Lady Drew says there's a communication. The art of communication even involves being sincere with with what one says. Very cool. Uh, she has it. Okay, I was just trying to make sure. I want to just call out everyone who's participating here. The art of communication involves clarity and understanding, and then last, the art of communication involves knowing the subject matter and having an understanding of the individual, and that involves in communication. So appreciate that. And Rolando, self love can free you from self doubt. That's a good one.
Mhm.
So. But anyway, we'll keep moving on here. I appreciate you all being in the comments. If you have questions for Sifu Rafael, please feel free to throw it in the comments. We'd love to get to your questions, and we appreciate your comments too. So thank you for participating. I want to talk about now. I mentioned it in the one of my favorite books is The Magic of Thinking Big, and he talks about the power of now. And I'd like you to kind of community type in hashtag now, if you would, please. But why is it important to improve your communication skills starting today, now, not tomorrow? What's your thoughts behind that?
Actually, you should have started with your communication skills from yesterday or
There you
10
go.
years ago. But so why do we do it today? Why is that such an important skill to have? Well, because if you don't communicate properly, you're going to leave money on the table when it comes to business. You're going to not have the best relationships you can. Because when you're with a partner, a spouse, a neighbor, a brother, a sister, a cousin, anyone, and you walk away from a conversation saying, I should have said it this way. I should have said it that way. what winds up happening is it's because you did not understand the EQ of communication, right? Think about empathy when somebody else communicates. Remember, most people, they just want to respond instead of understand. Understanding is probably the most important thing because a lot of times we want to help. That's in our nature. So when someone is saying something and you don't understand, or you assume, and you know what happens when we assume, right? I like clarity. I would like to say, let me get this correct. Is this what you meant? And then I'll re-say it in my version. And then they'll either say, yes, exactly, or no, that's not exactly what I meant. Let me clear that up for you. So clarity is important. That's one of the things that we need to be able to have with every conversation so that we don't walk away with, I should have done this, I should have said that. You may also understand that a lot of people get into arguments. I don't get into arguments.
I don't think anyone wants to fight with you. That's for sure.
Well, here's a reason, right? Not only because I do teach a lot of different weapons and so forth, but it's because the minute I argue with you, I gave you my power.
All right.
I do not give away my power.
Yep.
Nobody, you can know people who've known me for over 30 years, they've never seen me angry. Why? Because if I get angry, I'm giving away my power. I rather walk away from a situation or even say, hey, you know what? I appreciate where you're coming from. I don't necessarily agree with you, but I can actually, maybe I don't see your point of view, but I respect your point of view. All of a sudden, they have nothing to argue with me about because I say, I see your point of view.
Yeah.
I may not agree with it. So therefore, there's no more argument because
we were taught, Rob and I were taught, feel, felt, found. It's kind of a way around that. I know how you feel. If I was in your shoes, I'd feel the same exact way. Let me tell you what I found, right? And then you have an opportunity to kind of just share what you found, right? Not necessarily. So it's a way of maybe if you still feel like you need to express your feeling, because in some cases, right, that's important. And sometimes you just don't even need to, right? You just let it go, right? As the song from Frozen, right? Just let it go. I'm not going to burst out in a song on. You'll be very grateful that I don't do that. So, but anyway, we're kind of to the bottom of the hour here, so I want to kind of wrap things up. Rob, I know you want to talk about Sifu's offer, and we're going to kind of start to wind things down. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve. Listen, audience, Steve and I love talking with new people like Sifu and bringing you great people who are very accomplished in their fields that you can learn from, that you can connect with. Also, we can overcome. We want to bring you value, but we always want to bring you a little extra value. So I want to ask Sifu if he could tell us, he's got an offer for you guys that he's going to tell you about right now. And I'm going to put it in the chat while you speak, Sifu.
Sure. So one of the things, and we talked about communication, how when you should start to practice it. We're practicing it right now. We're communicating, we're listening. And so my offer to you is pretty simple. Give me 30 minutes and let me help you understand what is it about your communication style that can get a boost. What is it about your communication style that you're doing amazing, but maybe you lack in another aspect? So I am offering, usually I charge, but for you guys, it's going to be absolutely on the house, and it will be my pleasure to help anyone. Listen, 1% of 100 is great. 1% of 1,000 is great. How much more do you want to qualify your communication skills? A tiny little bit. That's how I improve every day. I don't improve 1%. Sometimes it's 0.1%. Sometimes it's 1/100%. But I still, every day, I look to improve. And if I can help you do that, it'd be my pleasure.
That's great. So how would you like the audience to take advantage of that offer? I think you had something about a personality report, but we can go this direction as well. Did you want them to reach out to you on LinkedIn and then reference the Master Connector show? How would be the way you'd like them to connect to do that?
Sure. I can grab a quick link for you guys if you want, or they can reach out to me through here.
Okay.
Whatever you guys want.
Yeah. Well, why don't you have them reach out, because we're going to close the show down here. So I don't want to feel pressured to get it in. So
Sure.
reach out to Sifu Rafael, and Sifu, could you just best way for the community to reach you, and any last parting words?
Sure. I mean, it's easy enough to reach me on LinkedIn. Look up Sifu Rafael. And also, if you look up on Facebook, Sifu Rafael G. Parting words is, you have the power to change your life by the words you choose. Choose wisely, my friend. Choose wisely.
There you go. Beautiful. Well, we appreciate you. We're going to put you in the green room, but thank you, Sifu. You've been incredible. You've blessed our community big time. Thank you again. All right, Robbie G. Well, good stuff. Well, we're going to wind it down. Go right to next week. We have another incredible person to show on the life lessons through unexpected connections with Mr. Dave Morvek. I'm hoping I'm saying his name right, but I met with Dave, an incredible individual, just like Sifu is. That's episode 186 on October 30th, day before the Harvest Day, Halloween, whatever you guys want to call it. But it's going to be a great show, so don't miss it. Tell your friends about it, right? And if you want to learn more about some of the future shows coming up, go to masterconnector.show. If you're interested in being a sponsor of an episode, you can also learn about that on masterconnector.show. We're excited. We've got guests all the way into 2025, well into 2025. It's crazy. But I'm going to close this down with just a quick story, right? When Airbnb co-founders Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia struggled to gain traction, they flew to New York to meet his hosts in person, turning conversations into meaningful connections. And by actively listening, expressing gratitude, and acting on feedback, they built trust that fueled Airbnb's early growth. Their story shows how authentic communication isn't just about talking, but about creating relationships that drive impact and inspire others to unlock the power of connection. Remember to always work on your communication skills, your connection skills, and you can transform them into your superpowers as well, and inspire others. And so you can then, therefore, shine your light. See you next week. God bless.
And you start to hear some of their challenges, and yes,
because it speaks to the core of who you are and what drives you forward. Because what makes you different is what drives you.